9. Clippers and Nuggets. Oh, you remember the last time. Yes. Remember the Nuggets knocking the Clippers out of the Western Conference semis back in September in the bubble? Clippers cooking, though, downtown in the first half, shooting 12 of 23 on threes with 11 of those shots coming off assists. Clippers go into the break up 72 to 55. They remembered. Let's just put it that way. Second half we go. Nuggets trailed by double digits in their last 3 games against the Clippers, and they won all 3, but that didn't happen in this one. Not even close, with the Clippers up 76-58. Paul George sharing to Kawhi Leonard for 3. Leonard, 21 points and 7 assists. Clippers are rolling. Under 7 minutes left in the third. Lou Williams, look who's wide open. Paul George, off to a great start in this season so far. George, 23 points, 9 assists. Just over 6 minutes to go in the game. Patrick Beverley, he misses from there. Leonard will get it. Tries to get the rebound. Leonard falls to the ground, and he starts bleeding. Leonard, what happened here? Well, it was an elbow. He took a hard elbow to the face from his teammate Serge Ibaka while trying to grab the rebound. Leonard would leave the game, did not return. Clippers would win, but here's our Malika Andrews on Kawhi Leonard.
It was a scary moment for the Los Angeles Clippers when Kawhi Leonard went down after colliding with Serge Ibaka late in the game. There was a lot of blood on the court as Kawhi was holding his mouth. But eventually, after medical staff came onto the floor and Serge stayed with him the entire time, Kawhi was able to stand up and walk off of the court under his own power. I'm told that he got 8 stitches to treat what the team is calling a mouth laceration. And Ty Lue said after the game that he believes Kawhi Leonard is, quote, going to be fine.
Well, the Clippers have some experience playing without Kawhi Leonard, considering his load management situation last season. The Clippers are just a hair above 500 without Leonard, and their points per game differential gets cut nearly in half without Leonard. Opponents are also shooting a little better from 3.
It's a huge honor, and I feel like every team should at least get to play on Christmas at least once.
To the basket, inside! Oh, what a finish from Bryant. And Kobe Bryant, 38 points for the Lakers.
Kawhi versus the Joker. The Clippers will be looking for revenge against the Nuggets, who knocked them out of the playoffs in the bubble. This one is in Denver, 10:30 Eastern, ESPN. Stephen A., who do you have more faith in moving forward? Is it the Nuggets or the Clippers?
For me, it's the Clippers. And the reason why it's the Clippers is because I think that when you talk about the Clippers going up against the Los Angeles Lakers, again, they're highly motivated. And I think they match up particularly with the acquisition of Serge Ibaka, not to beat the Lakers. But I think all of those intangibles, all of those things on the side, combined with the skill set that they have in play, I definitely think that could give the Lakers a significant run for their money. My issue with the Denver Nuggets, Max, is, believe it or not, the Joker. He is incredibly skilled. We know that he is a special talent. He's an all-star. We know he's big time. We get it. Except for when he's going up against Anthony Davis. I think that when he has to answer to Anthony Davis, I think it's a problem for him. And when you acquire Marc Gasol and then you add Montrezl Harrell as well, even though he had his way with Harrell and those boys for the Clippers last year in the conference semifinals when he averaged 24. The bottom line is I just think that when you talk about them or compared to the Clippers as being that formidable threat to the Lakers, I trust the Clippers more because I think athleticism is desperately needed when you're going up against the Los Angeles Lakers. The Joker can play, no doubt about that, but he can't jump onto a curve. I mean, he has no hops whatsoever. You need that against Anthony Davis. He doesn't have it. And I think because he's such a focus for Denver offensively as well, he should be. When he's going up against Anthony Davis, it's a huge, huge problem for Denver to overcome. And that's my issue with that matchup.
Well, look, the reason AD is better than Jokic is because AD is a superstar on both ends of the floor. But Jokic can do so many things offensively. You know, if you shut down his scoring and he can bully you inside, he can shoot from the outside. He is arguably, and you probably win the argument, the greatest passing big who ever lived, at least in the modern era. He can bring the ball up. Like, he can actually be your point center, bringing the ball up and getting you into the offense or from the pivot or wherever. This dude is special. And more importantly, Stephen A., he and Jamal Murray play up in the playoffs. They become the best version of themselves when you need the most, right? I mean, these guys, and Jamal Murray's still getting better. So the difference between the two teams, and we can go to the supporting cast, and you're right, the Nuggets supporting cast is going to have to get better from within because they are a team who really probably needed to add something but didn't. But they have reason to believe that Michael Porter Jr. will become a legitimate third scoring star to go with the other two. In the meantime, Will Barton's no slouch. He's a good NBA player, as is Paul Millsap. Like, they have guys in their starting lineup and rotation who can play. But the important thing for me is I look at the Clippers, I see their two stars. And Paul George, I hate to do this. I don't like doing this to James Harden. I especially don't like doing it to Paul George, who like I used to argue with people 4 or 5 years ago. He's better than Carmelo because he's a two-way player. And everyone was telling me I was crazy. So I really root for Paul George. But the fact is he goes away in the playoffs. Like, Carmelo was a guy who, when the moment was big, you can give him the ball and Carmelo could take you there. Paul George has not been that guy in the playoffs, period. Jokic has been, Jamal Murray has been, but only Kawhi has been on the Clippers. Now, so your number two scorer is going to be who? Lou Williams? Not that he can't do it, but that's not how it's supposed to be. They really need Paul George to be a superstar in the playoffs. I haven't seen it. I have to say, I have more faith in the Nuggets as a result.
Well, listen, Paul George, I mean, listen, last year, Game 7, there's no excuse for it. Him and Kawhi Leonard. But I'm just looking at his numbers here, Max, because I wanted to look it up. In the previous 4 playoff series that Paul George was in last year, he averaged 27, 28, 24, and 28. Now, Max, he could have played better, particularly in clutch moments. I understand that. But we're talking about him like, you're talking about him like he just wet the bed every time. That, he was just a shell of himself, like he damn near scrubbed. Paul George can ball. Paul George has had good performances in the postseason in his career. It hasn't been consistent enough. It certainly didn't occur last year, particularly in Game 7. But let's cut the brother a little bit of slack. It's not like the brother went AWOL and disappeared. Other than Game 7, it's not like he went AWOL and just disappeared. In all of these years, he's never done anything. Paul George has had plenty of good playoff game performances. It's just a sustained level of excellence that's required for you to get to that next level where LeBron and AD and those boys, because AD averaged 31 last year in that conference finals against the Joker. He averaged 21. AD averaged 31. Yeah, we need to see more of that from Paul George, no question. But it wasn't like Paul George was some scrub that can't show up come postseason time. I think we need to stop talking about him like that.
Well, hold on. It's the same thing I say about James Harden. If you when you're falling from a very high height, you fall down, you're still pretty good. I'm not saying Paul George is a below average player, even in the playoffs.
Well, that's all I'm saying.
Paul George is an above average. Yeah, I got it. He's an above. Let me be very clear. Paul George in the playoffs is an above average starter. He's an above average player for a starter, which is a good player, right? I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying in the regular season, he's an above average all-star. So how's he fall? Why are you that makes you think if a dude like that plays up, like that's Kawhi for a lot of his career or the last several years. In the regular season, he's not an MVP. He's an above average all-star. Playoff start, he's an MVP. Paul George needs to be that dude. That's Jamal Murray, Stephen A. Remember we were saying last couple of years, Jamal Murray's coming along, but I'm like, okay, but Jamal Murray's like all-star-ish. But when they needed him most in the playoffs, that dude's an MVP. That dude elevates. Paul George doesn't. A superstar. Jamal Murray and Jokic in the playoffs, superstar.
Donovan Mitchell,
Kawhi
same
playoff
thing.
Superstar, not Paul George.
Okay.
All right. We'll leave it there, guys.
We're extremely blessed. Extremely blessed. Enjoy every moment as it comes. There's such a beautiful level to that. The layer beneath that is the purity of it all and the enjoyment of it all.
That is family over everything. Family over everything.
Good morning, everybody, and Merry Christmas. And as Stephen A. alluded to, 2020, an extremely challenging year. Our heart is with the Bryant family, as we just saw that montage, and with Kobe. But guys, what we hope to be today right here at ESPN is a bit of a respite. Yes, it's been challenging, but sports bring us together. Sports are distraction we need right now, and we have 5 incredible games today, plus 2 hours of Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. Max, you look great in that sweater.
Well,
I'm loving it. And here are the matchups, guys. Pelicans, Heat, Warriors, Bucks. Yeah. Let me just run through these games. Nets, Celtics, Mavs, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets. It all starts at noon. Go ahead, Max.
It's a great slate today. It's unbelievable. But I just want to say, Merry Christmas, Stephen A. Merry Christmas, Molly.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank
to
you.
both
You
of
too.
And I want to say, they say Christmas is a day for miracles. A miracle has happened today, Molly. Are you ready for this miracle?
What?
This is the first time in the history of doing the show, First Take with Max Kellerman, that I'm actually jealous of his outfit. I've never felt that way before, but that's a pretty fly sweater.
I know.
Right there. I really wish that
he does look very cute.
I have to give credit.
Very
where credit
handsome,
is due.
Max.
That's a pretty fly sweater right there. I got to admit it. I wish I
love
had that. That's pretty nice.
I love the spirit you're bringing. You look very handsome, Max. All right. We ready to do this, guys? So we've got 5 games, and let's have some fun for 2 hours. Give people a little bit of a break. And then, obviously, all day long on ESPN and ABC, you saw that slate. Incredible game. So here's the deal. Mavs owner Mark Cuban, he's going to be with us in just a bit. I want to focus on his squad. Luka Doncic, the MVP favorite. That, according to Vegas. Dallas facing LeBron, AD, and the Lakers today. Max, do you think the Mavs are the biggest threat to the Lakers in the West?
I do. I think the Mavs are the biggest threat. And they're playing now without Porzingis, but that's because they're being careful. They want him healthy, obviously, this season. And you saw what Porzingis did in the bubble in the playoffs right before he got hurt. He was a monster. He was the crime partner Luka had that Kawhi, frankly, didn't. And by the way, had Porzingis not gotten hurt in that series, I'm very confident the Mavs would have beaten the Clippers. That's right. I picked the Clippers to go all the way. I thought they would have gotten knocked out in the first round by that Mavs team. And with another year of experience, they should be better. Guys, I always talk about how the two-way wing is the quickest way to a championship when you pair those guys together, Jordan and Pippen or LeBron and Wade. But as the game has evolved increasingly, it's not just the two-way wing. It's the wing who's also the ball-dominant kind of offense organizer like LeBron or Luka. Luka Doncic, I think, is going to win MVP this year. He's already one of the best players in the game. And then Porzingis, as I mentioned, he has a guy, people forget the trajectory of Porzingis' career. Before he got hurt, he, to me, looked like he was evolving into a potential MVP one day. They have 2 guys like that, and they both perform under pressure. We saw that in these playoffs. And then, guys, look at the supporting cast. Tim Hardaway Jr. actually became a good player. Not just a guy with a name who scores points on a bad team, but an actual player. He hits shots from outside. His defense got better. He can go get a shot if he needs to. He's a player.